Last two rows, can you hear me real good? Thumbs up. Okay. First off, let me say this. They picked the crazy one to go first. I'm going to let you know right now. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it's a thing, and we're going to see. Okay, Red? We're going to see. Now, allow me to introduce myself again. I am Nina the MC, syndicated radio personality, certified wedding officiant, and professional, capital P, professional event MC. One thing that I wish was that somebody had my 5th grade teacher's phone number so they could FaceTime her, because she said I talk too much. Tell her I'm at ILS. Somebody let her know, okay? They got the right one. Now, today I'm going to be talking about owning the stage, owning your moment, okay? And I know a lot of people like to talk about the pretty things. They like to talk about ambition and drive and motivation and determination, and you got to get it. I want to talk about the other side of that, if you don't mind, okay, D, if you don't mind. The things that people don't often discuss, like self-doubt and insecurities and jealousy. Because when we start talking about internal conflict, that's a lot of things that people won't be transparent about. Nobody wants to talk about that part because we live in a society that's just so Instagrammable, so everybody has got it all together. We got it all together. But I'm here to tell you today, I do not. God is still working on me. God is still growing me. I'm not about to sit here and act like I'm perfect, which is probably why I'm on this stage. Glory be to God. So, if you guys don't mind, I'm going to just keep it real. I'm not going to be grammatically correct. I like to say ain't. For those of you who are in town from out of town, welcome to Texas, where we say y'all. Okay? If you guys just don't mind me being myself and giving you this message, let me hear you say yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Okay, so we're talking about owning the stage, owning your moment. The first thing I want to ask is, have you identified your gift? Because one thing that has helped me to own my stage and own my moment is identifying my gift. Have you identified your gift? There are a lot of successful people in this room, degrees and PhDs. Folk in here got more money than bees with honey. You better network, okay? So I would automatically assume everybody has identified their gift, but I've learned in life, just because you think you see it doesn't mean it's so. So we're just gonna bring it to the basics right now, and I'm gonna give you 3 ways to help you identify your gift, okay? Number 1, what's something that you've done since way back in the day? Probably since you were a child. And I'll say this, a lot of gifts you're not able to see. I know we have singing, acting, and dancing, but some gifts you can only experience, like the gift of patience. I would really like that one. The gift of discernment. So what's something that you have had with you or done since way back in the day? And number 2, what comes easiest to you or what comes natural? Now, when I say natural, that doesn't mean you're not going to have to sharpen that gift. It doesn't mean you're not going to have to learn more about it, water it, and grow it, okay? It just means that you and that thing have a flow. You and that thing have a type of harmony. So number 2, something that comes easiest and natural to you. Number 3, I'm glad y'all make me feel real good taking notes. Number 3, what assists you in connecting you with people? What assists you in connecting people with God? There's this song that I really like. J. Moss, We Must Praise. Every time I hear it, boom, fall out, okay? So if you know the song says, if I were a drummer, I would use my cymbal. If I were a writer, I would use, what did it say? My pencil. So what would you use to connect? Those are your 3 ways, okay? And once you have identified and recognized that gift, it is then that you have to have confidence in that gift. You have to have confidence in it. I didn't say that you're not going to get nervous. I didn't say that your brain won't have reservations and hesitations. Okay, I didn't say that. Matter of fact, we've all come from different places in this room, different races, ethnicities, men, women, and one thing that we all have in common, at some point in life, we've experienced this thing called imposter syndrome. If you've experienced imposter syndrome, say, and did, okay? Confidence to me just means I believe in my gift. Even when I don't feel like I'm good enough, even when I don't feel worthy, no matter how you feel, that does not change what God has placed on the inside of you. I believe in my gift. And if you find it hard to believe in your gift, what you can do is just look around you and see how many people don't have it. I know they say that comparison is the thief of joy. I didn't say compare. I didn't say compare yourself to other people with that gift. I didn't say that. I said look around on a day-to-day basis and see how many people ain't working with it. God was intentional with you, okay? So the first step to owning the stage and owning your moment is to be confident in that gift. Point number 2, this is the second thing that helped me, the assignment. I know you know about it. The assignment. God called you. Now, I'm going to have a lot of fun with this part because there are parts about it that people don't like to expose about themselves and they don't like to talk about it. I'm going to get to that later because right now I just want to encourage you because, like you said, we've dealt with imposter syndrome. We've all experienced insecurity. So this part of the message is just meant to be ointment for that cut. And if you keep it in mind long enough, eventually it will help to heal you. This is something I want you to think about, whether it was 3 years ago, 3 weeks ago, 3 minutes ago. Have you ever been in a position where something was presented to you and immediately you thought, I'm not good enough? Okay? Just think about it. Maybe an opportunity knocked at your door, and instead of jumping at it, you mocked your own abilities and said, I don't think I could do that. Can I tell you right now, big bro, can I tell you right now, sis, can I tell you right now, twin, you absolutely positively can. Absolutely. Specifically because of our all-knowing God, our ever-present God, the God that provides, the God of provision. He assigned it to you. The assignment is yours. He called your phone. He called you. And he's given you that assignment for a reason. And you can't worry about the people around you because we do that. You can't worry about the people around you nor the credentials that they have. I'm going to keep it transparent real quick. I almost said no to this assignment. Ask Lauren. I almost said no because in my head I was like, you want me to be on stage with Marty? Big Marty, not the little one. You want me to be on stage with that? I had hesitations and reservations. I'm being transparent. I did. But I had a homegirl. That's why your circle is important. I had a homegirl that told me, she said, girl, it's somebody in that audience that needs to hear what you have to say. And they need to hear it from your mouth in only a way that you would say it. And then boom, it dawned on me. God is not going to give me an assignment that he won't see me through. Okay? God is not going to give you an assignment and leave you hanging. The problem is a lot of us have people trauma and we project that onto God. People will leave you, won't even pay you back that $5. But God would never. Matter of fact, you don't even have to be all that skilled to complete the assignment. You don't even have to have that degree to complete the assignment. God said, I just need you as a vessel. He said, let me use you. I got this. I just need you to say yes to the assignment. Now, this part ain't God. This part is me. You know a hater going to have something to say. You know the hater's going to be like, how she got that? Why she got that? And this is what you say. It had nothing to do with me. It's not a me thing. It's a God thing. You got a problem, you take it up with him. Okay? Now, this is the part where I said I want to talk about the thoughts that we don't speak about out loud. Sometimes we are the ones with the selfish thoughts. Sometimes we are the ones that's jealous. How she got that and I've been here longer? She ain't even got experience. That was just me like about 3 weeks ago. That was just me. But the same thing applies. Sometimes it ain't got nothing to do with you, okay? And if you got a problem with it, it's not a them thing, it's a him thing. You take it up with God, okay? So all of that to say, when we are owning the stage and owning our moment, the stage for you, it might not be like a elevated platform. It could be your nonprofit business. It could be a group of people that give you attention at Bible study or at the grocery store. Owning your moment. We have absolutely positively no clue when we're going to be presented with an opportunity. You have no clue when God is going to call you to serve. Put this in your notes right here. When God gives you that moment, when God gives you that stage, you own it by being confident in your gift and knowing that God called you for that assignment. Okay? Father God, I pray that I've said something beneficial to someone in this room. I thank you for using me despite of how I may feel about myself. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. Thank you for giving me the stage. Thank you for giving me the moment. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. All right, she's going to be doing leading in a digital space. Can you put your left hand and your right hand together for my girl, Lauren Stewart, as she makes her way. Come on, Lauren.
Now, how am I supposed to come after that and on the stage?
No assignment.
All right. All right. So, you're at the wheel, leading your team on a road trip towards a shared destination. The excitement is there, but as you hit the open road filled with anticipation for the adventures that lie ahead. As the journey unfolds, so do the unexpected twists and turns, the road closures, the construction zones, the unforeseen obstacles that threaten to derail your plans. Yet, here's the thing about leadership. It's not just about sticking to the map. It's about navigating the detours with grace and with resilience. It's about embracing the unexpected and turning challenges into opportunities for growth. Just like on a road trip, there are moments when you veer off course. You take the unplanned exit. You have to reset that GPS because Waze is like, wrong turn, wrong turn. And in those moments, you have to be flexible and adaptable. And that is true leadership. You see, every detour, every setback is a chance to pivot, to innovate, and to forge new paths forward. It's about rallying your team, staying focused on the ultimate destination, trusting in your collective ability to overcome any obstacle that comes your way. So as we journey together, because we're about to go on a journey, let's embrace the road ahead. The twists, the turns, the pivots, and yes, even the detours with unwavering determination and a spirit of adventure. For in the end, it's not just about reaching the destination. It's about the shared experiences, the lessons, and the bonds forged along the way that truly define the leadership journey. Greetings, everyone. I am Lauren Stewart. I am the Executive Director of Digital Marketing for the TD Jakes Group. I want to welcome you and thank you for coming out. Today, I want to speak with you about leadership and leading in a digital marketing era. So while I'm going to take a different approach, while I'm talking about the work, I want to talk about you as a leader. And let me say this before I get deep into my presentation. You don't have to have a title to be a leader. You don't need a title. You were the leader the moment you asked to lead the front of the line. You were a leader the moment that you decided to take initiative to change something or to help someone. So we know that understanding the digital landscape, I won't get into all of that because we have these lovely women to cover it, but with content, social media, email, and campaign marketing. But I want to move on to vision and strategy. Let's talk about the work, and then we're going to talk about the leader. So with the work, you have to craft a clear vision for your digital marketing efforts. Because the vision, it helps with your plan and the roadmap and where you're trying to go. I think the Bible says without a vision, the people perish. You have to have the vision and know where you're going. Setting measurable goals. When goals are measurable, it's easier to understand what needs to be achieved. When you have those things when they are measurable, you have clarity and focus. You're able to track your progress, and then you also have the motivation. Now, I'm gonna flip to the leader side of it. What is your vision for yourself as a leader? Because your vision, it becomes that guide. And without a vision, you become aimless. You're shooting in the dark. Are your goals realistic and attainable? And what I want to say about this part is, a lot of times we add pressure on ourselves by setting unrealistic goals for the moment. And that's something that we don't often talk about or often acknowledge. It's okay to take your time. It's okay to map it out. But what happens is when we set unrealistic and unattainable goals in that moment, we miss out on what it is, that assignment in the moment that we're supposed to be working on, because we're so busy focusing on the future that we're forgetting the present. You can focus on the future, have your plan ready, but make sure your goals as a leader, they are realistic and attainable for that moment. Now, this is something that we all can relate to. Put a plan in place and stick to it. How many of you have ever had a plan that you didn't stick to, or you start and stop, you start and stop? Raise your hand. Let me tell you, on today, what's today's date, the 22nd? 22nd, March 22nd, the time is now to pull back out that plan that you once drafted. Make some adjustments for the moment, because we know times change, but it's time for you to pull that plan out and stick to it. You owe it to yourself. It becomes a thing where when you don't stick to your plans, you are disrespecting who you are as a person and what it is that God has laid out for you. So honor yourself. Honor the plans that God has for your life and stick to it. All right, moving on to data-driven decisions. So let's go to the work side of it. Data drives your strategy, not what you personally believe works. Because what? Numbers do not lie. So, example, because we're all on social media. If you decide to post at, hey, I'm gonna post at 10 o'clock a.m. every single day, and the engagement is low, but you know that the optimal time and the system is telling you to post at 7 p.m. to get your best engagement, and you continue posting at 10, that's a personal decision. That's not a data-driven decision. Stick to the facts, because numbers, they don't lie. They don't lie. All right. Utilizing customer insights to personalize marketing efforts. You have to know your audience. Know what it is that they want. What are their behaviors? What is it that they're after? because that definitely helps guide your strategy and create targeted campaigns because you have to target who it is that you're trying to drive in. Investing in tools and technologies for data analysis. This is simple. Let the system do the work. You don't need that Excel sheet. Well, you do, but if you don't have to spend time going in, plugging in everything, don't do it. It saves time, it saves money. Just allocate your resources and make sure you invest in those systems and those tools to help with your analytics. Now let's go over to the leader. Have you done a self-assessment to understand your leadership style, understand your spiritual assessments? And one thing I want to say about leadership style, it changes. It does not stay the same daily. It changes based on the situation. It changes based on who your team needs in a moment. And sometimes there will be moments where you find out, ooh, I got to change that up. That's not so good. That's not helpful for the team. And in those moments, that's when you realize how to better serve your team. It may not feel good, but that's when you learn more about yourself as a leader and how to serve your team. Are you listening to your body, physically, mentally, and spiritually? Burnout is real. And if, as leaders, we keep going and going because you want to get the job done and you want to make sure it's done in excellence. But with that, you don't take the time or take a break or pour into yourself. So now you're no longer leading. You're operating off of being burnt out. And that's not effective or conducive for the team or the ultimate goal at hand. And then it goes into my next part. What resources are you utilizing to invest in your well-being as a person and as a leader? I'm no mental health professional, so I'm just going to say, if there's options, is therapy, books, hobbies. These things are important to take time for yourself as a leader and to recharge. It's definitely necessary. And I do encourage going to therapy because it helps. My last point, inherited systems and culture. Let's talk about the work. How many of you have ever gone into an environment or you started a new job and you're like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to change this, we can do that. Me? No? By myself? Okay. All right. You can't do that. You really have to take time to assess and analyze the situation because you are not Destiny's Child. You can't make the people lose their breath. They're going to lose their breath trying to keep up with your plans. So you have to be sure to take your time to assess and analyze the environment and the culture that you are integrating yourself into. And then moving on to the next part, you have to be strategic with your integration. You cannot, again, just throw it on them at once. So that comes with having a plan. One thing that I've been hearing throughout this conference since the start of yesterday is strategy. It goes back to the strategy. No matter the topic, you always need a strategy, and that's the most important part. And then leadership styles, just learning the different dynamics around the organization. Who did the team have leading them before? Because that may impact their ability to be receptive of whatever your leadership. And I think when you learn that, you understand how to lead from a different place. Switching over to the leader. What are your core values? Integrity. Things of that nature. Because one thing can happen, we've all, I'm sure, been in work environments where we'll go into the work environment and we'll allow a system or a culture to change our core values and who we are as a person. And when you do that, you become misaligned with your vision and your call to serve. So if you're in that predicament, or if you ever see yourself headed down that road, reel it back into your core. The core is your heart. Do you have the heart to serve? Then character building and awareness. Let me tell y'all. Leadership builds character. There are moments you will be stripped and you're like, oh, you learn those ugly truths about yourself. And as you learn those ugly truths about yourself in a leadership space, it's really about, when you learn it, what are you going to do to improve and to change? It doesn't make you a bad person, but it comes with having that awareness and being aware of who you are as a leader. And again, as I stated in the beginning, that's going to change, because you always have to be for the moment and who it is that your team, or whatever the assignment is at the time. So with that, I do want to leave you with this quote. One of my favorite artists, Nina Simone. It's an artist's duty to reflect the times in which we live. No matter your line of work, no matter what you do, it is a form of art. If you are an accountant, if you are an educator, whatever your role is, you are an artist. It is a form of art, because in some form or fashion, you are impacting somebody. And it is important to reflect the times in which you live. What do I mean by that? You have to be who your audience needs in the moment and be relevant to the time. Thank you so much. And next, I'm going to bring up Ms. Rosalind Bell, the Chief Marketing Officer of the TD Jakes Group.
Hello, everyone. I'm Roz. We're going to talk about partnerships. According to a 2022 CEO survey, partnerships are generally considered to be more important than internally generated content, research and development, innovation, and new product development. So in fact, partnerships, and the reason for them is that they add value. There are a myriad of ways that partnerships can be additive to your brand or to your business. Let's discuss a few of those examples. I don't think it's surprising that partnerships can grow your customer base. Historically, I'm going to give you a few stories from my own experience. Historically, Gillette had a very strong partnership with several multinational brands, including NCAA, Final Four, and Miss America. When I was a brand manager on Lustre Silk, a Gillette brand, an African-American Miss America was crowned, opening the path for my brand, Lustre Silk, to travel the United States, building brand awareness not only for the brand and Miss America, but also growing Lustre Silk's customer base. Not surprisingly, partnerships also expand geographic reach. Kraft's Breyers Ice Cream was the largest brand in the world, with limited distribution only east of the Mississippi. I was a brand manager at Breyers Ice Cream, and to expand the reach and growth of the brand, we talked about needing to expand the brand, obviously, to the west of the Mississippi. And rather than do the capital investment that would be required to do that, we partnered with a distribution partner. It was cheaper, it was faster, saved a lot of money. So that's how that partnership added money. Partnerships can also accelerate the speed to market for products, services, or technologies. When I was a brand strategist at Dell Computer, you may know that Dell's model was the direct model. They had a capability to preload software with select independent software vendors, usually best in class, to make it easier for their customers to get to market quicker and faster. This is particularly important if you think about a school district, for instance, that might want to buy 50,000 computers. Can you imagine if you give to your IT department 50,000 computers to image one by one? Well, Dell had the capability to preload, determine the image, and send you 50,000 computers preloaded with the software. That was a partnership that helped accelerate the speed to market and to growth. Partnerships can reduce costs. We've all heard of buying collectives or purchasing cooperatives. VHA Inc. is a DFW-based healthcare supply chain company that really focuses on data and analytics and supply chain management for small community-based healthcare organizations. And the thought is that we're going to amass these small entities to give them purchasing powers so that they can be more competitive cost-wise with large corporate healthcare systems. So a partnership can in fact reduce costs. This is not my personal experience, but this is one that is, if you're a marketer, you have to know this one. A partnership can block or delay a competitor. For all of those that you have an iPhone, you maybe know this story. It's not a story I know firsthand, but the partnership between AT&T and iPhone is legendary. Nearly 20 years ago, Apple entered a 5-year exclusive deal with AT&T for their marketing and distribution. The rest is a lesson in marketing history. Today in the United States, the iPhone still commands more than 55% of the market share. So in fact, a partnership can help you block or delay competition. These are just a few of the examples, but hopefully they've enhanced your vision or interest in partnerships. On this next slide, I had a colleague who asked me for some thoughts on partnership and resource utilization. And so about 1.5 years ago, I took some time and I put down some thoughts. This is my theory. I'm sure you guys all have some thoughts that could help me improve it, but I'm going to take a stab at it. In terms of the process, I think there are 5 key steps. I think first about discovery and awareness. There you're prospecting. And the whole question you're trying to answer is, who should I partner with? Who's going to help me elevate my brand? Who's going to get me in a door I can't get into myself? But you also have to assess risk, because in every deal there's a risk. Are they good? We are a good fit. Do they have the same tonality as my brand? Do they have any negative press that could negatively impact my brand? You have to think those things through. The next stage is interest or alignment. Why? Do we have shared goals and values? Are we trying to accomplish the same things in the world? Do we want the same things for our future? And of course, the name of this conference or the theme is timing is everything. Timing is important. If you are in a cyclical or seasonal business, don't go into the partnership in your peak season. Go into the partnership in your down season so you'll be ready for the peak. Likewise, if you're at the end of the fiscal year, you may not have the resources and they may not have the resources. Start at the beginning of the year so you can get to your business quickly. The next point that I think is important is the initial offer or engagement. This is how you're going to do business. This is where you derive the deal points. You've taken the time to get to know who you want to partner with. Develop deal points that'll make them want to do business with you. But more importantly than that is consideration and negotiation. If you really care about your partner, if you're really aligned for the same things, you're going to try to craft a deal that's a win-win, because it's not about you or about them. It's not about you or about them. It's about you collectively as a deal. Finally, you want to close and execute. You get to the business. Once you have a partnership, certainly congratulations are due, but I think that there are things that you need to think about beyond the partnership. For me, there are 3 key things. The way you got into the partnership is because you trust each other. Trust, communication have to be job 1. You shared a vision with someone. It will take work to keep that trust, but it's the most important thing that you can do to maintain the partnership. 2, the go-to-market strategy. What do I mean by that? Develop a plan for how you're going to approach the market. The messaging needs to be consistent. You need to explain the deal that you have with the partner the same way that they explain it. And in that way, people know that you're in sync. The other thing is, don't forget in-market execution. It's really important to think about sales strategy. I've worked with large companies. I've also worked with smaller companies. Sometimes the deal is that if you let me use your brand name, that's enough. You give me enough shine, that's the deal. Sometimes you work with 2 multinational companies. They both have joint sales forces. And you say, we're going to make joint sales calls and we'll split the revenue based on, the outcomes of the deal. Another time it might be deal registration. You're going to register the deal with your partner and then get paid if you close the deal as specified. It's important to, dot the I's and cross the T's. Lastly, but equally important, is the engagement model. I haven't talked about the money, but obviously the money's important. You want to track the metrics and the results, and you want to make sure that you are getting to the revenue recognition stage very quickly. There's so much more to know about partnerships, but hopefully these brief remarks piqued your interest in starting or growing your own collaborations. I want to take this opportunity to introduce Marty McDonald, CEO of Boss Women Media and Elle Olivia. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. As Rosalind said, I am Marty McDonald. I am the CEO and founder of Boss Women Media and a second company, because I'm a crazy entrepreneur like that, and I love the game of entrepreneurship. I started a brand called Elle Olivia. Elle Olivia is a lifestyle brand for Black and brown little girls to see themselves through everyday moments, the apparel that they wear, and affirmations being the way of us doing that through representation and big possibility. I am so excited to be speaking and connecting with you guys today. I have a story of being seen, and I want to share my story of being seen with you guys. There's something so powerful about being seen in an intersection of being seen that meets preparation. When you are going after anything it is that you're doing, whether you work in corporate America. Who works in corporate America in here? Raise your hand. Listen, this is for you. Who's an entrepreneur in here? And this is for you, because we need both of you guys for anything to work as it relates to partnerships and pitching and really allowing the moment to be seen. So my story is not like, and I say not like anyone else's, and very similar to everybody in this room. First of all, I am a believer of God, and I have to say that because my story doesn't even make sense in so many ways. My story is the intersection of being seen, being prepared, and allowing God to do miraculous works. In 2018, I quit my corporate job. I had been grinding in corporate America for 10 plus years, and I decided it was time for me to bet on myself. How many of you guys have taken the leap and is betting on yourself? Okay? I'm here for the betting on ourselves people, okay? The people who know that there is more in life. That was me sitting in my corporate cube, looking out thinking, this can't be it. And in 2018, I decided to take that leap. In doing so, I had started, at that time, it wasn't quite a media company. I had started a brunch series. We were called Boss Women Who Brunch. And in Boss Women Who Brunch, we would just meet up frequently, and we would go to brunches, and we would talk about our more in life. Do you want more? Yes, girl, I want more. I want to be a CMO. I want to be a CEO. I want to be a millionaire. All of the things that we wanted, right? And so in 2018, I decided, instead of me just talking about it at brunch, I'm going to go ahead and do something with it. And I remember my last day of my corporate gig, December 1st, 2017, and I put everything on the line. And I remember going to a conference very similar to where you guys are today. I went to this conference called the Girl Boss Rally in LA. And at this conference, I went into a breakout room very similar to where you guys are right now. And I remember everybody going up to the panelists asking all the questions afterwards, but specifically the panelists that they had heard of, the influencers, the celebrities, the people with the clout. I'm here to tell you, go up to the people that nobody's going up to. Those are your people. Those are the people with the information. Those are the people with the pool. Those are the people who can do something for you, not the people who you're just going to get the Instagram photo of. But as I'm sitting in this breakout room, I'm listening to this lady who's the CEO of Sugarfina talk about how Sugarfina candies create taboo gummy bears. And I had just left my corporate gig. In my corporate gig, I worked in marketing. So my experience is brand marketing, product development, innovation. And I had just read this Nielsen data report. I want you guys to take note of that. If you are in a space and a place, reading and gathering information is the vehicle for you to go to the next level. And so I had just read this Nielsen data report called Black Girl Magic is Real. It talked about the buying power and behavior of Black women. And by 2022, Black women would be the highest spending consumer out of any ethnicity, but brands weren't showing up for her. So I remember going up to this lady at the end of this breakout, and like, she creates taboo gummy bears. She should create a gummy bear called Black Girl Magic. And I'll bring all of these women to her store. So I'm in my head thinking of my pitch that I'm about to give her when this concludes. But data is what led me to be bold and confident to go up to her to share my ideas. I was on fire. Listen, I had quit my job. I didn't have no paycheck. I didn't have nothing to lose, and I had to eat. So let me go up to this lady and let her know what I can do for her. And so I remember going up to her saying, and this lady was much older and did not look like me. But don't be afraid of putting yourself in positions and in situations that leave you a little bit uncomfortable. I go up to her and I say, have you ever heard of Black Girl Magic? She looks at me and she goes, can I say that out loud? Now, this is before George Floyd. We're not saying Black Girl Magic in the workplace. None of that is happening. And I go, Black Girl Magic is a rallying call. It is the buying power and behavior of Black women. And by 2022, Black women are it. You missing out, sis. And she goes, send me an email, contact@Sugarfina. Now, we all know where that email leads to. Nowhere, okay? But I got home and I wrote the pitch deck that really transformed my life and my business. I allowed data to be the decision factor that led her actually responding and emailing me back. It took her 6 weeks, but I got an email from Rosie at Sugarfina, the CEO, and we were off to our races because Rosie did not only agree to create a gummy bear called Black Girl Magic with Boss Woman Media, but she also agreed for me to go on a 5-city tour that allowed my little brand to not be a Dallas-based brand, but to be a national brand. We go on our tour, and on our first stop was LA. And if you guys can put the first slide back up of the first national press slide. Our first national press that we got was with Pop Sugar. This changed the trajectory of everything for me. But I want you guys to leave with one thing. If you don't hear anything else that I say, is that I was prepared with the data to tell the story of the women that I was impacting and the work that I was gonna do. I didn't go and create a false narrative or a false dream of what I thought I could do, but I was prepared. Preparation and opportunity will bring you the desires of your heart. And so with that, we go on a tour. I allowed that tour to be really kind of a catalyst and a data beta test for myself, if you will. So we go on this tour, we're doing Black Girl Magic, and at the end of the tour, I conclude all of the information, who came, how were the women impacted, what was our press, what was the social media impressions, and I collect this and put this in a deck. I remember going to go speak somewhere else. So I'm in a green room, I'm talking, I'm connecting, and I meet this lady who was over partnerships and development at Capital One. And I remember telling her, hey, I didn't know really Capital One was, involved in the community in these ways. Would this be something that you guys would be interested in? She goes, please send me your deck. I go home. I do that all over again. I send the deck that changes the trajectory of my business. I remember I go to Capital One headquarters and I am prepared to pitch them not now this 5-city tour called Black Girl Magic, but now a 25-city tour called Black Girl Magic. And it was my first 6-figure deal, and I'm going to share with you guys a couple of things that I included in that pitch deck, and hopefully today you can leave with some takeaways. But another takeaway that I want to share with you is there's power in being seen. Allow yourself to be seen in spaces and places. Show up confidently. Know who you are. Know whose you are. And allow yourself to be around people that invest and pour into your seeing power. There's so much power in you being around people who are cheering you on, who are believing in what your biggest dreams are, who know who you are as much as you know who you are. If you can go to the slide on the PITCH acronym, please. All right, so this is my formula. This is what I included in that pitch deck. First, I like to start with the acronym PITCH. PITCH is partnerships, what your known factor is, how you think creatively, how you're confident, and your hypothesis. So I want you to, in your time, before you leave this conference, write down your 5 ideal partners that you want to go after. Whether you're sitting in corporate America and you're trying to develop more businesses or go after more community involvement, write down who those partners are. Whether you are an entrepreneur and you want to partner with other brands that can propel you forward and you can propel them forward, write 5 of those brands down. And then after you write the 5 down, I want you to be very clear on what does your audience want. If you're going after these brands and you have an audience that can be captivated by them, what are the things that your audience wants? Because you're going to be bringing community to these 5 ideal partners. And that's one way of how you land deals. And then how will this add value? And then after you do that, there's this exercise that I do. If anybody is a marketer in the room, you know this exercise very well. It's called fauceting and funneling. You turn on the faucet. What happens? Water pours out. But if you put a funnel underneath it, just a little bit of water pours out. So if you have all the ideas in the world, and normally we do, there is no lack of ideas. We're just throw it all against the wall. And then allow yourself to really get in deeper on what those ideas are, the impact it's making, does your audience want it, and then work your way backwards. And then here's the biggest piece, and this is the piece that will make or break you, is your mindset. What does your morning routine look like? For me, right now, my morning routine is a little off. I got a 7-month set of twins at the house, and I got a 3-year-old. And listen, some days we wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Some days we wake up at 9 o'clock, and we be real late for daycare, okay? But my morning routine has been the thing that really has transformed my thought process. Am I spending time with God? Someone told me this recently, and it just stuck with me to a core. Every day, the enemy goes to God on your behalf, in the morning and in the evening. And if you do not get to God before the enemy gets to God, then you are doing yourself a disservice to allow the enemy to take over your day. So you better believe when I'm waking up in the morning, the first thing that I'm doing is I'm going to God. Whether it's a devotional, I have a Powerful Thoughts devotional by Joyce Myers. It's an easy devotional to read. I read that every day. I'm asking God to show up over my family, over my life. But then, and this is when I got real time, I'm writing down what I want my day to be, what I'm asking God and seeking God to do out of my day, and how I need him to show up so I can see him throughout my day. That is very important. And then write down what your values are and what are you praying for. If you don't know what you're praying for, you better believe nobody else is going to know what you're praying for. And then lastly, what is the big idea and why? What are you pitching? When are you pitching? And who do you know? The series of everything I told you, and I gave you guys a little snapshot of the way God has really shown up in my life and allowed people to be in places, but it's always been the people who lead projects and partnerships. People lead that, not companies. People decide to take that on as a responsibility, not companies. And so people have been a big part of the purpose of the partnership deals that I have led with. And so who do you know? Turn to your left and your right. Make sure you leave here today knowing somebody new. There is power in knowing the right people. Before I close out, I just want to say this really quick prayer. And if you guys can just close your eyes really quickly. Dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you, God, for today. We thank you, God, if no one has even had the moment to say thank you today. God, I ask that you allow some words that I said to be the catapult to someone taking their next big step, their next big level. Allow the people that are in this room today to leave and to lead in the direction that you have for them. God, allow them to connect and network with one another. God, show up in their atmosphere. God, show up for what you're doing for them. God, show up and show them who you are. In Jesus' name, amen. It is without further ado that I have the privilege of sharing our last speaker, Tashara Parker.
All right, thank you. Woo! All right, give yourselves a round of applause. My goodness, you've heard from Miss Nina, we've heard from Lauren, we've heard from Roz, and we've heard from Marty. Everybody stand up for me. Stand up for me. Stand on your feet. Y'all all right? Okay, I need you to repeat after me. The time is now. Y'all ready? We gonna go get it. Have a seat for me. Give yourselves a round of applause. Appreciate it. Again, my name is Tashara Parker. I am a journalist here in Dallas, Texas. Give it up for the Triple D. Raise your hand if you came from out of town to be a part of this. Y'all know TD Jakes and them know everybody. I know that's right. Welcome to Texas. As Nina already mentioned, glad to have y'all here. What you've just heard on this stage has all been about storytelling. Everybody in some shape, form, or fashion has told you some kind of story on this stage this morning, okay? And by the way, I know the name of this, we talking about timing is everything, so I want to thank y'all for y'all time because I know a lot of y'all been sitting in the audience. Y'all was very patient until we got this thing started, okay? Got to make sure that I mention that. So I'm a journalist here in Dallas. I work for WFAA News. All right. Anybody watch the news this morning? It was looking mighty fine, mighty fine. If you know, you know. And I have been a journalist for about a decade now. I wake up at 2 o'clock every morning to make sure that I'm on your TV at 5 o'clock in the morning. And I know the privilege that it is to be able to wake up and come into your house with you every morning, okay? Somebody had messaged me one time and they was like, yeah, you get out of bed with me every morning. I say, baby, no, I don't. We ain't getting out of nobody's bed now. I know when you wake up, you see me, but that's about it. One of the reasons that I became a journalist, y'all, is, we hear all this representation matters now, right? We hear that all the time. And for me, growing up in inner city Houston, I would often see news crews come into my neighborhood. Now, when I would see news crews come into my neighborhood, it wasn't for something positive. And I always remember the anxiety that it gave me to see those news crews coming because I knew that something had went down. Anybody else raised in an inner city neighborhood? Now, when you see them news crews and those flashing lights, most of the time it ain't for something positive. And so I always remember how that felt. Flash forward to Texas A&M University. Any Aggies in the room? We got one. That's all right. Okay, I went to Texas A&M. I ended up starting off in forensic science because, I had watched a little too much TV. Yeah, so started in forensic science. I got there, I started taking all those science classes. Y'all, I took my first biology exam. Y'all know how they be like on the SAT, ACT, you get a little point or whatever for writing your name on the paper. They came back, I'm telling you, the grade was about a 13. I say, oh, baby, this is probably not for me. So I went back to my advisor. We had some conversations. We settled on communication, and I had to pull on my childhood for reasons why, okay, this might be my area of opportunity to go ahead and excel in what I was doing. So I ended up doing all of what I needed to do to become a journalist because I know how important it is to make sure that we continue and share our stories. One of the reasons that I became a journalist is because I knew the importance of storytelling, and I knew the importance of representation and seeing somebody who looked like you on the television screen every day. And what was important to me is that I didn't want another child, okay, to wake up and to see those flashing lights in their neighborhood, wherever that neighborhood may be. There are many across the U.S., to see those flashing lights and get scared and to experience that same anxiety that I experienced. Raise your hand if you know what I just did. Raise your hand. What did I do? Say it louder. Storytelling is that important. We can go to that next slide. I want you to remember that. Storytelling is universal. Regardless if you guys knew that I was talking about being a journalist, I could have easily got on this stage and say, I work for WFAA, I'm on the news every day. Easy. But when you tell stories, that is something that is universal for everyone that is in this room. Now, I've heard this on this stage already. We may not all have the same story, but we all have a story to tell, okay? And it's up to you to tell your own story, because if you don't tell your story, somebody else gonna tell it for you, okay? And we don't want that. We're in a day, I know, who that we don't want in my echo chamber over there? Baby, we don't want that, okay? Yes, ma'am. Storytelling, too, it helps you tap in. Who that over there? Who is it? Y'all can't see no slide? Baby, that ain't my ministry now. Y'all better listen to my words. It's all good. Storytelling is universal, all right? Baby, not the devil trying to be busy in the Lord's house today. Look, storytelling is all about tapping into your emotions. And as you can see, I got a whole lot of emotions on this stage. It taps into our emotions and it helps bring things to life, right? So you just heard Marty talking about partnerships and all of that, but when you go to create and try to leverage those partnerships, one thing about it is you got to know the story that you're trying to tell in order to leverage anything that you're trying to sell. And I always say, I saw people raise their hand about being entrepreneurs. Raise your hand, entrepreneurs. Corporate America. Who else we got in the room? People that got a brand. Raise your hand. You got product, whatever it is. It doesn't matter what area or industry of expertise you have, we all have stories to tell, right? A lot of times, and this is what kills me sometimes about networking. We go network with people and they ask you what you do, they sizing you up already. Oh, you the CEO? Look, I'm gonna go talk to the CEO. But what Marty said, you need to make sure that you're going to talk to the people who everybody is not surrounding, right? Go ahead, you can give a round of applause for that, because a lot of times we're looking for the people where all the attention is, but we're not going to talk to people who actually may be able to help you develop your story. So next time you go and meet somebody, instead of just saying, I'm the CEO of this, my brand is this, my product is that, I need you to tell them your why. Your why may be the reason. Instead of me buying that wheat bread down there, I might buy the wheat bread on the opposite end of the aisle. I always tell people, when you go to the grocery store, it's about, I don't even know, 30, 40, 50 different loaves of bread you can choose from. And everybody had the idea that they wanted to create a bread brand. But you know why you choose certain bread brands? It's either something that has been ingrained in your mind for years, right? And they've told a story for years that have made you latch on to that brand. So remember, storytelling helps you retain information, and it makes things more meaningful and easy to understand. Next slide, please. Oh, y'all still can't see it? Who wanted a picture? Go back one slide. They want the picture. Baby, I thought y'all hadn't got that picture already. Okay, y'all got about 10 seconds, because I only got 10 minutes up here, okay? We good? Give me a thumbs up if we good. Okay, my friend in the back still, yeah, okay, friend. All right. Now, I know y'all know the lady on the right. And we got some beehive up in here? Okay. Now, the lady on the right is probably one of the coldest storytellers out there. Now, the reason that I use Beyonce as one of my examples, one, because most people in this room should recognize, I would hope. Now, for months, this woman had been teasing us and not telling us explicitly what she was working on, but this was all a part of her story. And we talked about knowing your audience earlier, and Beyonce knows her audience to a T. She knew that she can give us little bitty pieces of information leading up to her release of her country music album that we would all latch on to over time. One of the greatest stories ever. Who know the woman on the left? What's her name? The fact that y'all know who Risa Tisa is a problem. Do you hear me? Let me give a quick rundown of who Risa Tisa is, okay? Risa Tisa, y'all see at the top it says, who, TF, did I marry? Fill in the blank when you get home, okay? Risa Tisa is someone who was on social media. A month ago, nobody in here probably would have known her name, maybe 2 months ago, okay? She got on social media and she started telling her story, okay? What she did was she made her story so relatable to anybody who has ever seen a red flag in somebody. And she told her story all the way throughout, okay? She talked about her marriage during the pandemic, getting a divorce, and ultimately what ended up happening with that situation. It's not necessarily about the story that she told, it's how she told the story. She latched people in. She left us with cliffhangers. She said, oh, I'm coming back with the next part. And people were just ready to hear that next story. So again, storytelling is important because it helps us relate to the next person. There's really no other reason that we could have related to her without her being vulnerable enough to tell us not just who she was, but why this story was important for everybody to know. By the way, she just got signed by one of the top agencies in the country. Come on, somebody. One of the top agencies in the country that entertainers all over the world want to be signed to. And this was simply by her getting on social media and telling her story, okay? Yes, we all got a story to tell. It's up to you to do it. Develop the story. That means you need to know your purpose, okay? We need to know who we are. When I first got into the news business 10 years ago, 2014, I started off in College Station, Texas, on air. We were probably one of the smallest stations in the nation at the time. And I remember walking in there and wanting to look like everybody, wanting to talk like everybody. And if anybody in Dallas, they know that's far from the truth right now. Okay. But when I first got in this business, I just wanted to kind of adjust to the situation, right? I didn't want to shake things up too much because I thought that was what I needed to do. So when I say know your purpose, what I'm reminding you of is that you were there for a reason. You were placed there for a reason. We've talked about knowing who and whose you are. We've talked about your assignment. All of those things matter when you're trying to develop your own story. Understand your audience. Marty touched on this a bit. When it comes to understanding your audience, you have to know what your audience is looking for. Always say you need to define who that audience is. I'm not just talking about the ins and outs, the numbers, and all of that kind of stuff. I give my audience a name. I have a nonprofit, it's called Loud Women Lead. I know I saw somebody with a shirt on. Go ahead and stand up and show them your shirt, because I saw you in the audience, okay, from way up here. Loud Women Lead is the name of the nonprofit, and I call my audience, you can name your audience whatever you want to name them. I call mine Queen, simple name, but Queen is defined by a whole lot of different parameters, and for you, when it comes to your audience, again, whether you're a CEO, whether you are a business owner, whether you're somebody that's selling a product, everybody needs to know their audience. And I always say if you define your audience, it will be much easier for you to be able to tell a story about who they are. Offer value, we know what that means in everything that you have. I was gonna show you a video, but we ain't got no time, it's all good. Elements of a story. Build and define your audience, as I mentioned. Grab their attention early. When I came on this stage, as I mentioned to you, I could have easily just said, hey, my name's Tashar, I'm a journalist, boom, we could have moved on, right? What was the first thing I did when I came on this stage? Stand up, right? You remembered that because we told a story even from the very beginning and you had no idea what I was trying to do at the time. So tell your story and own the stage, build and define your audience, and of course, grab their attention. When I say create conflict, what I mean by that is I told the story about where I grew up. A brief story, but I told you about where I grew up. And by me telling you that brief story, I was creating conflict to lead to the point and explain to you why it was so important as a part of my story to become a journalist in this day and age. Practice telling your story. I know all the ladies on the stage can agree with this because, baby, we've been practicing to get on this stage at ILS for the last at least a couple of months. We've been practicing to get on this stage. So when you go to meet somebody, I don't want you just going again to say, oh, my name is this and I do this. I need to hear your why. Your why might make me support you way quicker than you just getting up here telling me that you did whatever it is. Tell me your why behind what you do. You will be surprised at what that'll do for you. Stay authentic. Somebody said, Y'all say stay authentic. Who want to tell me what staying authentic means? Just raise your hand real quick. Keep it a buck. He said, keep it 100. Somebody else yell it out. Be yourself. All of those are true. When you get on a stage, I know it can be easy. We talked about what it means. Nina talked about this earlier. when it comes to situations like this. I've been on many stages, so has Nina, but it's a different story when you have to be in front of a different audience that maybe we're not used to. And so when it comes to being yourself, oftentimes, it's easy to shapeshift. It is so easy. Because I can get on that news in the morning and do what I need to do. Okay? It's easy to do that. But what can be really difficult is when the odds are stacked against you, you're in an audience, you're in a room of people you don't know and maybe people that hasn't heard your story, and you can easily begin to try to mimic the people that you see around you. I remember again when in 2014 when I first got into this business, I would go home crying because I was like, God, how did I get here? I'm a first generation college student. Nobody in my family had been to college, and this was new territory for me. And so to get in there and to be to the Tashara Parker, who has 15 siblings back home in Houston, and to really try to lean into and show them something new and to show them that we can all go and get it, it can be difficult. So I tell you that because I want you to remember that as you stay authentic to who you are, you never know who might need to hear your story at the time that you're telling it. Do you hear me? Your story is yours alone, and your story can only be told by you. So please remember that as you get ready to do what you're doing, you get ready to go into these next breakout sessions, your lunch, whatever it is, you got to remember, baby, I don't want to know you the CEO, okay? Say that for the end, okay? Tell me who you are. Tell me what you do. Tell me your story and why you do what you do. We all right? We gonna tell our stories? Okay, give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Okay. So now we're gonna move into the Q&A portion. Oh, they saw us switch it up. What? Did you hear that sound change a little bit? I thought I did.
You got it.
Okay.
Come on, Nina.
Check. Oh. Okay, so now we're going to move into the Q&A portion. We're going to take 3 questions from the audience. So my 3 people, if you don't mind just coming up to this area, if you have a question. We're going to take 3 questions from the audience, okay? 3 questions from the audience for the Q&A portion. All right. I see 1, and as the other 2 are making their way up, I'm going to start with 2 of my own, and then we're going to allow the 3 questions from the audience, okay? The first one's going to go to Marty. What's a recent partnership or collaboration? I think you spoke about that, though. A recent partnership or collaboration that inspired you and why?
Thank you. Hello. Okay. A recent partnership that I just landed was, I shared with you guys a little bit that I have a brand called Elle Olivia. Elle Olivia is a lifestyle brand for Black and brown little girls. We just launched our play and lay sets, which showcases a character called Elle Olivia. We have a booth out there in the expo. You guys got to come check us out. But we just launched in over 400 Targets last fall. And very, very proud of that. Our brand is not even 2 years old, but it started out of a need that I saw in the marketplace. Black little girls and brown little girls have to see themselves, and it is my job to make sure that my 2 black little girls at home are going to see themselves in this world, and they're going to know anything is possible. The partnership was unique and personal to me because we were the first Black-owned brand to get into Target. And I got into Target with a cold pitch email. I went on LinkedIn, I found the merchandising buyer, and I sent her a pitch and an email of my brand and what I could do for Target to drive and change their category. And it just showcased to me that anything is possible. You have to believe in your possibility.
Okay, listen. We got H-Town in the building, T, so I'm going to pass it to her. H-Town, Houston in the building. I randomly spoke to people in the audience, and look who is right here, Houston. So let's go.
Hi, good morning, everybody. My name is Keisha. I'm a Houston psychotherapist helping women overcome imposter syndrome so they can have less anxiety and depression in their day. My question is, how can I articulate that private transformation into a public marketing strategy, or who can I partner with to achieve this?
you want the question again? Did you say you want it again? Go ahead, Marty.
I would say from the perspective of who could you partner with, right? You need to look at see who aligns with your core values. A couple of years ago, I had hired a business coach, and I was so frustrated that I wasn't getting brand deals. And I kept thinking, it's because I'm black. It's because I'm a black woman. But she told me something that just transformed my mindset. She said, go find people that align with your values and remove your race from the perspective. So who are the people that align with the values? Whether that could be if you are a therapist, that may be someone who does yoga. That may be a gym that focuses on yoga and mindfulness, and you can partner with them and you can bring clients to them and they can bring clients to you. But think about what your core values are and how you can find someone that aligns with your values so you can be powerful together.
You remember we were talking about two-piece suits? Look who right here in this line. Two-piece, we're coming to you next. Go ahead with your question.
My name is Love Jones, and I'm from the Bay Area. This is for Marty, and yes, that's my birth name. My parents were smart with that. When you were talking about creating a pitch deck and, packaging what you want and having your story, when you have created all of that as an entrepreneur, you're like, okay, I know I need a pitch deck. I know I need to have my story and what I want, but you don't have the people to go to. You don't know how do you get to your next so that you can present that to them and create those partnerships.
I'm sure any of us can attest to this. All you need to do is take your first step. I'm pretty sure when Tasha started in news, she didn't know what it was going to look like 5 years. She didn't know she was going to go viral for all the things and, be a national platform. What you have to do is you have to start today. You can't worry about who is not in the line for tomorrow, but instead focus on what you have today to get you to that level. When I pitched to Sugarfina, girl, it was me, my suitcase, my balloon man, and my social media person traveling the airports from city to cities doing pop-ups. I did not know what a 25-city tour would even look like, and neither was it that my responsibility to focus on that. It was only my responsibility to focus on what I had today. And when you focus on what you have today, God will equip you with what you need tomorrow. But in saying that, I need you to know that you have everything to start today. You have absolutely everything inside of you to go write that pitch deck, to come up with that idea. It's not your responsibility to figure out what B, C, and D is if you are in alignment with what God has for you.
You don't have on okay, you have on flats. I'm gonna ask a question and then we're gonna come to you immediately after, okay? Lauren, making sure she have them sticks on. Lauren, are you ready? I'm going to come to you with this question. In your opinion, what defines creative content in today's landscape?
What defines creative content? It's really about what is connecting, what is going to build that connection with your audience and who it is that you're trying to target. You can take anything and make it creative content, literally. You sitting here right now looking at me, that is content. It can be a video that is a video of you looking at me, right, with no sound. But if you put some words on it, or what are you saying in the copy, that's creative content. But it's really about connecting with your audience. And so, in the way that you use that content.
She ready? Okay, your turn, Liz.
Hello, my name is Charity Hope, and I am in the process of building a digital platform for Kingdom businesses. So I'm building a directory site to connect Kingdom partnerships and help with collaboration. So it's kind of, one of the attendees gave me a word for it, like a yellow pages for Kingdom-minded citizens. So my question is, how do I collect data and do digital marketing research on something I've never seen done before?
Okay, so how do you collect the data Yes. Okay. So it's really about collecting the data, is depending on the systems that you have in place, investing in a system to help you gather that information. There are systems, I'm going to throw a few out there, such as you have Amplify, you have Sprout. There are a plethora of platforms that can help you gather this information to where you're not doing it yourself. And what you do is you build in, you put in what is your goal, but also you connect, if you already have your platforms and stuff, and allow it to do the analyzing for you, and it'll customize exactly what it is in that strategy and who you're trying to reach to help, with your strategy on the back end. So I definitely advise investing in some type of tool of such to help you and make it easy on yourself so that you're not losing focus on your vision at hand.
I would like to add to that. I do think that there are a lot of other Kingdom businesses that would like to participate in your directory, and sometimes it's as simple as reaching out to people you know, other churches. It can certainly do what everything Lauren is saying, but sometimes it's just reaching out to people you know. I've actually heard of someone in our organization that's interested in something similar, so let us know.
She said put it in the church announcements.
Thank you.
The Potter's House. I've just been told we can actually take one more audience question. I'm going to ask Tashara this while. Oh, baby, listen. Go get your blessing. Mary should have just played while she was running, okay? I'm going to ask Tashara this question, then I'm coming straight to you. Can you share a timely tale or example of leadership that left a lasting impact on you?
Oh, absolutely. Marty made mention of me going viral a couple of years ago, and part of me going viral is me showing up on TV wearing my natural hair and an updo bun hairstyle. And you would have thought I didn't cuss the people out by coming on TV with this hairstyle, okay? They started writing in, emailing all the things, saying, how could you let this woman come on morning TV with her hair looking like that? And so that kind of catapulted my career from a standpoint of I got very much involved with the Texas Crown Act. I helped amplify that message. We got the Texas Crown Act passed here in Texas back in September. That law went into play. And of course, we've had some challenges to it, but that's a story for another day. But as far as a timely tale, it dates back to when I first got into journalism. About 2 years in, I had a Caucasian woman and I had a black woman, and they both told me, Tashara, just be you. They said, Tashara, we see what you're doing in the commercial breaks, but then when the TV come back on, you all, And they said, no, Tashara, just be you. And that's what I really feel like got me to this point where I can even be on WFAA. And they found me in, using a plethora of methods, and it wasn't by watching me in Tyler, Texas before I got here. And I just started being true to who I am. And it's all about being true to who you are. So from people emailing in and messaging the station, something that was meant to be a negative situation certainly got turned into a positive one. I've been flown all across the country, all across the world, to make sure that I can continue amplifying the message of natural hair and what that means and what professional hair means in corporate America. Yeah.
Let me tell you what I learned from you and Miss Crockett as well. I said this on air in a promo. I was so excited for that promo to play. When you get in certain rooms, there's no need to code switch. Code switch for what? Yeah, I really like that. Thank you, Tashara. We're going to come to you. Yes, ma'am. Track.
Hi, I'm Dr. Loretta. I'm a wealth and wellness strategist. I've become super passionate about being a part of the solution with closing the wealth and wellness disparity in our community. And so you guys talked a lot about being prepared, showing up as yourself, taking that action. And so what would you say to a person who's been preparing, studying, reading, learning, going to conferences, and showing up prepared? How would that person connect with someone like yourself to receive the things that you're offering the community so that they can impact the community in a larger way?
Well, okay, you don't need to prepare no more, first of all. Your preparation period is complete. It is now time to put action into place, okay? So what is your first action step that you are going to take? Give yourself a deadline. Give yourself a list of people that you are going to connect with, and give yourself what you want the ultimate outcome to be. There is power and vision in speaking out loud. You better write that bad boy on your mirror. You better look at it every day. You better believe and say and know that it's going to happen for you, because you have done everything up to this point to prepare for it. Now it is time for you to take the action and do it.
Absolutely. That's why I ran up here. Someone asked me why did I want to come to this room. I said I want to hear Marty McDonald speak.
Me too. Me too.
The crazy part is, let me just say this real quick. I kept saying, be seen. Listen, when I got the email that said that I was going to speak at TD Jakes' conference, I literally lost it. Number one, because last year I carried these babies for full-term twins that I have. They're 7 months old. I've been giving and pouring so much. But for me to finally be seen in the city that I have poured in hundreds of $1,000s into, that I have created so much contact into. And when I found out that I was seen by someone that I didn't know, it meant so much more. Lauren said that she found me off of Instagram. She's been following me. She sees me. She sees my message. I don't even know Lauren, but now I know Lauren and we friends. But she saw me. There is so much power in being seen. I didn't put my name in a hat. I didn't call nobody. I didn't ask to be on the stage. But instead, someone saw me because I was prepared. And same thing for you. You now are prepared. So go and move and do the work.
This is going to be our last question. And I hope I'm not putting you ladies on the spot. I'm going to give you an opportunity to just closing words of encouragement, and then we'll be done. But the last question is going to go to Ms. Roz. Did I ask you this question? Just tell me yes or no, because I'm up here. Okay. How do you approach fostering partnerships in your leadership role?
I think we said start with authenticity. Be you, know what you want from the other person, and be willing to give as much as you get.
Okay. And do you guys want to just leave them with anything, absolutely anything?
I would start by saying, do it anyway. Do it scared. I can tell you, I'm sitting up here scared from the time I walked on this stage, just scared. I'm on the stage with Tashara, with Nina, with Marty, I was scared, but do it anyway. You never know where it's going to get you. Trust your heart, follow your heart, most importantly, and follow God, and let him direct your path.
You lose every shot you don't take. So take the shot.
I like you. I like you.
Oh, that's really.
She reserved, but when she talks, she talks.
Yes. I love that. I would say allow God to do the miraculous work. You do not have to manipulate, control, and move every situation. When you allow God to do the miraculous work, it will blow, and he will blow your mind.
Baby, they didn't say it at all. I really just want to just emphasize the importance of going after everything that's yours. Because if you can see it, if you can visualize it, if you can write it out and you can speak it out, God is going to direct your steps with anything else you need to do. I'm all here for us being in this room and receiving this knowledge from ILS, and I'm so excited to see everybody in the room. But baby, we done been to enough conferences. We can go to some more. That's all right. But what I need you to do is implement everything that you have learned up until this point and really take action on what it is that you want to accomplish, because it's all about just going after it, and God gonna lead the way on everything else. And I'm talking to myself too.
And in closing, I said when I spoke to you, I almost said no to this assignment, but I had friends that told me, no, you need to go ahead and do it. I need you on this week, this month, 2024. I want you to start observing your circle. Just watch them. Just watch them. And that's all I'm going to leave you all with. Last announcement is what they told me to say to you, okay? Thank you for participating in today's session. To receive your certificate of completion, scan the QR code on the screen. Oh, there they go. They got it working, team. Scan the QR code on the screen and follow the instructions. You're going to choose your class, Fill in your name and your email address, and you're going to receive your certificate of completion. Also says you cannot put anyone's name but yours, okay? Can't put anybody's name but yours. Make sure you download the TD Jakes Conference app to receive updates and information on the event. And all the pictures and the videos that you guys took on today, please, please, please use the hashtag ThisIsILS or use the hashtag and/or Wells Fargo. We got that? Has everybody been blessed and received something on today? If it was 500 people in here and we touched 2, we did it. We did it. So you guys have a blessed day. For those of you in town from out of town, welcome to the Triple D, honey, and enjoy your weekend. All right.